Ford Focus 2-liter Ecoboost swap, part 3. Real quick here before we get started, this is the $75 Focus ST engine harness I got off of eBay with a damaged PCM connector. And guess what? With the use of a screwdriver pushing the levers in right here, I was able to use that. Went right on there. If you're having trouble with your PCM connectors, I have a video on removing stock TCM connectors off of a Ford Focus. It's the same type of connector. Anyway, moving on. Back in the shop, boys. Got me a blow-off valve here. Not a sponsor. Turbo Smart. It's one of those that are 50-50. It 50% blows off and 50% diverts back into the intake there. I did a few things off camera, I'll be honest with you guys. I put this idler on here, water pump, and put the clutch and flywheel on. I hope y'all don't hate me. Looks like there's 3 torque screws to take off here in order to put the blow-off valve on. 1, 2, and 3. Torque's 30 on this male turbocharger. I think the stock ones have like an Allen key on them. Oh my goodness. Wow. Compared to the one I'm putting on, this one's so much nicer. Don't forget the 2 seals in case they fell off in the package. Now, I am going to be routing this to true vacuum as well. Basically, the line that comes off of this blow-off valve goes all the way up here. From the factory, it comes up to the side of the sensor here. And what I'm going to be doing is pulling this line off, capping it off on the sensor, and running this down. I'm going to be going in right here with it since I have an escape engine here with an escape intake manifold. However, if you have a Focus ST and you have a sound sumposer delete, that sound sumposer delete plate also can come with an adapter for a vacuum line. You just route it to there. Since I'm going to be trying to use the Focus SE brake booster harness here, plan is to go ahead and cut it off right here where my fingers are, put that into the intake manifold where I just showed you, and then put some vacuum line on there to adapt it to the vacuum harness going down to the blow-off valve. And then with what's left of the harness in here, I'm going to go ahead and use some vacuum line to tee it in right here where it's supposed to go on this vacuum pump right here. Very, very simple mod to do right here. What do you say, get that daggone old motor in there? Get the motor in here. Somebody please remind me to get a clamp on this right here. Okay. I'm waiting on a clamp to come in for that. That's not good for the vacuum line there. That's not very even. That's better. What do you say we get this mount bolted up? Okay. Do you like my Focus ST mount from Amazon? There we have it, boys. Time to tighten this thing down. Maybe raise it up a little first and take up that gap. There you have it, boys. Oh, I need to get my new slave cylinder in here. I am using an MTX75 slave cylinder because I'm using the MTX75 transmission. Now, upon further investigation, the throwout bearing's the exact same size, and when installed in the transmission, the slave cylinders come out the same amount, and the input shaft diameter and spline count's the same. So I see absolutely no reason why you can't use a Focus ST clutch on an MTX75. And that goes both ways as well. If you have a Focus SE, not the turbo engine, I do believe you can use a ST dual mass flywheel and an ST clutch kit and save a lot of money that way. Because how much are the dual mass flywheels for the SE non-turbo? Like $1,000 through Ford? I don't know. There we go. Just wanted to mention all that. Here we go. This is one of those slave cylinders that does have the seal, input shaft seal, built into the slave cylinder. Therefore, with your new one, you have to lay some silicone around the inside edge here all the way around. Here's what you're supposed to use. I'm not a sponsor. Loctite 518 or Motorcraft TA16, I believe. Put it around the edge here. Be a nice thick bead around there. Okay. Use the new bolts that come with your Lux slave cylinder. I'm sure they're shorter for a reason. The housing's a different size. Next thing I'm going to do here is lather up the face of the bearing here and the splines on the input shaft with some molybdenum disulfide grease. Did you come out here to help? Here's where I've got this attached, right here and right here. Phew. I should have put that right there, but I'll take it back down now. It's rubbing the frame rail. Never mind, I'm just kidding. Almost. Okay, I got her on the dowel pins there. I just got under here and muscled it on in there, lift the back of it up and just shoved it on. And yes, it does appear that the bolt pattern on the MTX 75 matches the 2-liter Ecoboost, just in case there's any concern on that. If you don't know what bell housing bolt goes where, here's a little trick I've learned. Stick it in there, and if it comes out about that much, it's the right length. If it goes in and it's like flush before it touches any threads, then that's not the right one. And if you stick it in and it's like way out here, no, try another one. Stick the starter insulator in here. You see these 2 notches? It goes like that. There we go. That's the insulator from the 2-liter Duratec. Get the weight off the chain. Get the mount back on the transmission. It'll line us up with the center here for the mount. Line that bolt hole up in there and start the bolt. Right there. I'm going to have to raise it up a little bit. Careful not to cross thread or damage the threads for that bolt and that mount there. Like that. Oh my goodness. That is just too darn easy to do on these things. Well, there's another roadblock here. I can either put a helicoil in it or get a new bracket. Your boy is back from the junkyard. Luckily, they had another bracket here. Figured out the problem I was having. So the engine and transmission is like that, and even though I was going straight in, I was cross-threading. So what I did is I raised everything up a little extra. See how this side's lower than this side? I'm just going to tighten this down and then lower it down and let it level itself out. Okay. I'm going to tighten it by hand. Careful not to pinch these wires under the mount, or your car won't start. Ask me how I know. They're in, boys. The engine and transmission is in. Yahoo! Alright, this ain't no time for a break. Let's keep going. Let's keep digging in. I found that turbo clamp. That little vacuum line. Woohoo! Start getting the rest of the bell housing bolts in, shall we? Got the cables on. Shipper cables. Dorman. The wings of failure. It's so easy to work on this thing when you can, like, walk into the engine bay. What's that? Oh, come here to help? That probably wasn't funny because I think in terms of the footage, I just made that joke like a minute ago. Uh-oh, I found a discrepancy. See that bell housing bolt? Ooh, bell housing bolt hole right here? Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere behind there. The problem might be the fact that this is an escape engine, and this oil pan's designed to bolt to a 6F35 automatic transmission, not a 6-speed from an ST. Discrepancy. Uh-oh, look at this. This is where the axle's at over here. And, yeah. I mean, the good news is it's not going to hit the oil pan there. But, I might need to try an ST bracket here for the axle. Woo, it's dark out here. Here's where I'm at, guys, before I close out this video. This Focus came with a 5-speed manual. Both of the axles are shot. They have play in them. The right axle is not going to fit. I'm going to be ordering an ST axle bracket, since I have the 2-liter Ecoboost going in this thing. I'm going to be ordering an ST right axle, so it lines up with that bracket. And I'm going to be using a brand new 5-speed left axle. So that's right, it's going to be Frankenstein like that. But after my research, the ST and SE axles for the 5-speed versus the 6-speed I'm talking about, the right axles are the same length, the bearing's just in a different spot, which is what I need since I'm going to be using the ST bracket, and I have a 2-liter Ecoboost like in an ST. And of course, I'll be using the 5-speed axle on the left side, for obvious reasons. No differences there. Alright guys, I sure do hope you liked the video. Stay tuned for next time, where I have more parts to put in. Okay?